Hey everyone. This is my second video of the day, and this one's going to be more about mom for people, more family thing. And again, my note is popping up saying on my computer that I may be having performance issues. Way too personal. Hopefully this video comes out okay. Mom, dementia, not fun. I've been getting, I can't remember, I did a little talk about this before. She'd been getting like a laser treatment on her shoulder because she's got arthritis in her shoulder. It was very painful. Seems to be getting somewhat better. And the chiropractor who's doing that said, hey, I've read about these being used for dementia, that it can break up the calcification going on in the brain. And he said he had seen very mixed results. He'd never heard anything about adverse reactions to having this done. But he had heard anecdotal evidence of people saying everything from we tried it and nothing happened to we tried it on my father and he was clear as a bell for half an hour after every treatment and then he went back to being like he had dementia, to other people who had said this is an amazing miracle and I have my parents back. And he had tried it on his own father, who fit into the second category of he would have the treatment and he would be clear as a bell for about half an hour and then it would over the next half hour, go back to dementia. So we tried it, and I'm not sure if it's doing anything. And at times I think it is. I can't tell. Before, my poor mom, those of you who've talked to her, she still seems coherent and she's just not a functioning human being anymore. And she can't drive or anything like that. Not because she can't drive, but she gets lost. She doesn't remember where she's going and then she doesn't know where she is and then she doesn't know how to get home. She doesn't remember that she has a cell phone or that big screen in the middle of the dashboard is a navigation system or how to use it. And then she has to have neighbors drive her home or friends or random strangers. She has gotten lost going on walks and had strangers drive her home. So that's where she was before. A couple marker type of things before she started these treatments, and we started doing these treatments I think 5 weeks ago. And there were bad markers. She had 3 times where she forgot who I am. She knows I'm Brian. She knows she loves me, but she would come into my room and say, "What happened to our mother?" And I said, "Well, your mother passed away 25 years ago." And you could see it was all in the moment. It was like new to her. You could see a very sad face, which is horrible to make her relive that. And then I would say, "And you're my mother." And she'd be like, "I'm not your mother. I would remember that." And I said, "Well, why do you think I call you mom?" She was, "Well, I let you call me mom." I said, "Well, who do you think I am?" And then she would get this very frustrated look on her face and walk away. And a few minutes later, she would come back and completely, didn't even remember having that conversation. She'd go, "Oh, you're my favorite son." And I'd say, "Oh, I'm your son now?" And she goes, "Of course you're my son." So, sometimes she knew our relationship and sometimes she didn't. By the way, I'm her only son, so that's why I'm her favorite son. So the other thing that she was doing was there was about maybe a 10-day period of time where I feel like I didn't get a full night's sleep any night. And this is, again, very common with people with Alzheimer's. You hear all the stories in the facilities where they have to lock the doors because they're rambling around at night and they're just as active in the night as they are during the day. And she would walk into my room at 3:15, 3:45, 4 o'clock, and she'd say, "Oh, you're taking a nap. What do you want for dinner?" And I look at the clock and be like, "It's 3:20. What the hell are you doing here?" And she goes, "Well, what do you mean 3:20? I said, "It's 3:20 at night." She says, "How do you know it's nighttime?" Like, it's freaking dark. and she would be like, "Oh, I can't tell." I mean, she literally didn't know if it was daytime or nighttime. She couldn't tell. And, and I'd say, "Just go to bed." And, I'd say, "Go upstairs, go to sleep." And literally 5 minutes later, I'd hear her snoring. And I'd be like, "Well, lucky her. She can just go back to sleep and be snoring." Now I'm all freaked out that my mom can't tell day from night. And that happened, I would say, maybe 6 times in about 10 days, where, she'd just be in my room in the middle of the night asking me what I wanted for dinner or, how long did I want to take a nap for? Or one day she said, "I'm going to go take a walk." I'm like, "It's 4:15 in the morning. You are not taking a walk. It's cold out there. How do you know it's morning?" So we were going through that. And both of those 2 things have stopped since she started getting the laser treatments on her head. So from that perspective, I think, oh man, this thing's working great. I mean, those are markers, and those are significantly not good markers. And she hasn't been doing either of those things. I haven't heard her rummaging around at night. It's not true. She did a couple days ago, maybe like 3 days ago. She was rummaging around at night again. But she hasn't had those conversations where she doesn't know who I am, probably in a month. And this is the first thing that I've seen get better, not get progressively worse. And it started right around the time she started getting those treatments. So from that perspective, it seems good. From the other perspective, anything else, I mean, she's still driving me crazy. It's not like it's, oh, she's totally clear and clear as a bell, because those really bad things have gone away and everything else is still out there. I mean, she's just, keeping her on track with anything is just impossible. And I've got hundreds of stories, and they're sad. By the way, I don't know if you can hear the phone ringing in the background. I've posted something on Facebook about this. This is just disgusting. Telemarketing industry, they've found someone elderly and not very bright. They call her 30, 40 times a day. Her phone just rings off the frickin' hook with people trying to get her Medicare information. We understand you've been in an accident recently. You must need wrist braces and back braces and knee braces. We can change your insurance to something better. They're just hounding her. And of course, she just answers the phone every time. It's a landline. I can't get her to turn it off. We've turned the sound off. She figured out how to turn it back on. I can't believe she could figure that out. Oh, God, it just drives me nuts. I want to just throw the phone out the window. It just rings and rings and rings. There are days when it rings at 5:15, 5:20 in the morning. That's illegal, but it's not like telemarketers are following the law. So anyway, that's my mom. What am I going to do about it? I don't know. I mean, I do know I'm going to take her for a long walk off a short pier. Oh, did I say that out loud? I mean, it's going to involve someone living with us, which we've already had, and she resisted. And I think it's probably going to have to be a guy living with us. She kept saying, oh, I don't like all the feminine energy here. It's like, we're all really nice people, deal with it, but it was just too much for her. Possibly taking our, for those of you who've been in our house, the downstairs, the den area is old school, where it has a separate den area. We never use that. It's a Christmas tree room. And maybe turn that into an extra bedroom and have her use that. So she's, because she's starting to have knee problems and stuff like that. So she doesn't have to go upstairs. And maybe we could have 2 people live with us in the 2 master bedrooms upstairs. I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of help required for both me and her. I mean, obviously I need help, right? So I've had home healthcare nursing coming in for the last several months with my fall and stuff. Insurance hasn't paid for a dime of that. That's always fun. So, I've been going broke paying for home healthcare for myself, and I'm going to have someone, live here. And the house is a nice asset because I can take the extra bedroom and, trade that to say, look, you're going to live here rent free, and you're going to make sure if the house burns down at night, you get us all out, and maybe the dinner gets on the table. I picture it being a small village. One person will burn out in no time at all, but somebody coming in the mornings to make sure I'm dressed and showered and stuff like that. And I don't know, someone to play with mom, keep her busy. I'm not sure, but I have to somehow find a way to get her past the point of resenting it, because that's the biggest problem. So far her mood is good. Her personality hasn't changed, except for when she's confronted with what's going on in her brain. If you mention to her that she's lost her keys 10 times in the last week, and that's why I now keep her keys, she gets really pissed off. Well, if I'm so stupid and can't keep my keys, why don't you just take me out in the backyard and shoot me? And she stomps off. And for those of you who know my mother, that's not her. That's not where she's normally coming from. But when she gets defensive is when she's forced to confront or talk about the fact that she's losing memory. And she does understand that she's losing memory. She's actually said it 3 or 4 times, which is a relief, because so many times the people are just fully in denial, where she said, well, my memory is not what it used to be. That's a huge concession coming from where she is now. But I mean, she doesn't, if you've seen the movie Memento, she's not far from that. She doesn't remember things 5 minutes later. She's gained weight because she's eating repeatedly. She'll make a sandwich and she'll eat it. And she'll go back into the kitchen and see all the stuff to make the sandwich, and she'll make another sandwich and eat it. And I mean, she actually ate one time She ate, I was out with friends, and she ate a dinner, and then she ate another dinner, I know because they were in the trash can. And then we brought her food home, and she ate that. And then half an hour later, she's going, oh, I'm kind of full. And she kind of coughed while she was watching TV and threw up because she'd eaten 3 dinners and she was just that full. And that's, again, common with people with Alzheimer's and dementia, that they don't remember that they ate, so they just eat until they puke. And I don't know how much weight she's put on, but she tried to put on a pair of jeans recently, and they were probably 4 inches from closing. And it wasn't like they were close; they were way off. So I can't laugh. I haven't had any exercise in a year. My fat pants I've blown past my fat pants. I used to wear 32s, and then through the pandemic, I went up to 33s. My fat pants were 34s. I think I'm wearing 36s now. It's bad. So I can't tease her too much about that. But I know mine is I got no exercise and I continued eating. I've actually, lost a few pounds recently because I've been paying attention to it. And hopefully as I start moving around again, I'll lose that weight back. Mom's never going to lose weight because she's eating on like Hobbit schedule. If you remember from Lord of the Rings, the Hobbits they eat breakfast and second breakfast, brunch, 11sies, lunch, tea, dinner, and supper. My favorite being 11sies, obviously. And Mom's totally on that schedule. I mean, like I said, she'll eat and eat 5 minutes later. I once saw her eat 7 bowls of cereal one day. And I couldn't stop her. I talked to her about it, and she got pissed. No, I haven't. Yeah, you have. There was a day when I have shopping come in because I'm doing everything on Instacart now for the last couple of years. And I bought 15 things of yogurt, and they were gone in a day and a half. And I ate 1, which means she ate 14 yogurts in a day and a half. And she's like, there weren't any yogurts here. And we open up the trash can, and there they are, all piled up in the trash can. So it's like that. I don't know what we're going to do with her. I'm not going to let her go through this on her own. I mean, she's done everything for me for my entire life. I'm going to do everything I can for her. So that's fun. So that's my mom. I know a lot of you need updates on that, or want to hear what's going on. It's not pretty. I do have hope that maybe sometime the laser treatments continue getting better. That's where she is right now. She'll be back in a few minutes. So we'll see. I'm going to keep doing that just because, like I say, I've seen some of the worst signs and markers regress a little bit. So let's keep trying. Thoughts and prayers on that one, right? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you're doing well. Take care.